Okay, so let's jump right in. If you've got a pet bird, you already know they're not just pets, right? They are 100% part of the family. And of course, you want them to have the longest, healthiest, happiest life they possibly can. Well, a massive part of that equation comes down to one thing: what's in their food bowl. And today, we are going to break down exactly what that should be.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Think about your bird. Think about what they eat every single day. Is their bowl pretty much always full of seeds? If you're nodding your head yes, well then we might be looking at what the experts call a seed junkie. And honestly, it's a way bigger deal than most people think. Now, look at this number, 80%. It's estimated that a whopping 80% of health problems in our pet birds are directly tied to poor nutrition. Just let that sink in for a second. That means the single biggest thing you can do to change their health for the better is to get their diet right. All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. For years and years, seed mixes have been sold as the main food for birds. It's what we all thought was right, but the science is in and it's crystal clear. An all-seed diet isn't a healthy meal. It's actually a junk food diet for our little feathered buddy. This right here really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Feeding your bird only seeds is basically like you or me deciding to live on nothing but buttered popcorn and candy bars. I mean, sure, it tastes amazing, but it's loaded with fat and has almost none of the good stuff. It's super low in protein, and it's missing critical vitamins like A and D, and essential minerals like calcium. So even if your bird loves seeds, they just aren't getting what they need to really thrive. Okay, so we've established the problem. But the good news, the great news, is that the solution is actually pretty straightforward. So let's talk about the blueprint for health and what the experts say we should be putting in that food ball instead. For most parrots, this is what the ideal plate looks like. The foundation, a huge 70%, should be a really high-quality formulated pellet. These are designed to be nutritionally complete. Then, about 25% should be healthy human foods, mostly fresh veggies and a little fruit. And look where the seeds and nuts are, all the way down at just 5%. They're meant to be a special treat, not the whole meal. But, and this is really important, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. While those big parrots do great on that 70% pellet diet, smaller birds like your cockatiels and budgies actually need a different mix. For them, it's more like 50% pellets and a higher amount of seeds, closer to 25%. So you got to do a little homework on your specific bird's needs. So what about that other 25%, the healthy table foods? Oh, this is the fun part. This is where you can get creative and add a ton of variety and a real nutritional punch. So let's check out some of the absolute best power foods you can add to their bowl. And here we go, what a list. We're talking about things like cooked lentils and chickpeas for some awesome plant-based protein. Whole grains like quinoa are fantastic. And of course, fresh veggies, broccoli, carrots, leafy greens like spinach and kale, they're just packed with vitamins. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. Sprouted seeds. They are a total game changer because sprouting unlocks so many more nutrients and makes them way easier to digest. Okay, so just as important as knowing what to feed them is knowing what you should never, ever feed them. Some really common human foods are actually toxic to birds, so this is a section that every single bird owner needs to know by heart. And here it is. This is the danger list. Seriously, you gotta memorize this. Avocado, chocolate, caffeine, and alcohol are absolute no-goes. They are literally poisonous to birds. Onions and garlic can cause a really serious blood condition. And even stuff that seems innocent, like apple seeds or dairy, can cause major health problems. So the number one rule here is simple. When in doubt, just don't share it. Okay, I can practically hear what you're thinking right now. This is all great, but my bird is so picky. He will only eat seeds. I hear you. I totally get it. This is probably the biggest challenge for most owners. So let's talk strategy. Let's make a real plan for winning over that stubborn little seed junkie. Before we even get to the steps, the most important thing to remember is this. Switching a bird from seeds to a healthy diet is a journey, not a race. It takes time. You absolutely have to be patient with them, persistent with your efforts, and really creative in how you do it. Whatever you do, don't give up. So here's a game plan you can actually follow. First, just start mixing a few pellets into their old seed mix. Then in the morning, when they're probably hungriest, try offering only the new food for a little while. Here's a great trick. Pretend to eat the food yourself with a lot of enthusiasm. They're flock animals, so seeing you eat it tells them it's safe and yummy. You can also play with the texture. Crumble the pellets up or soak them. And for veggies, chop them up super tiny so they're not so big and scary.
Now, if you're really hitting a wall, making a homemade soft food mix, kind of like this one, can be a total breakthrough. You can combine things they might already be curious about, like a little cooked rice, with some finely chopped veggies and crumbled pellets. It's a perfect way to bridge the gap and get them to try new things.
So why are we going through all this? Why all this effort? Because the payoff for their health, for their happiness, for your relationship with them, it's just immense. Making this change is one of the most loving and impactful things you can possibly do for your bird. And these are the results you're working towards. Birds on a good diet simply live longer. You will literally see their feathers get brighter and more vibrant. They'll have so much more energy, they'll be more playful, and their immune system will be stronger, ready to fight off sickness. You are giving them the tools for a better, more amazing life.
When it comes right down to it, this is the transformation we're talking about. You're taking a bird that is just surviving and is at risk on a poor diet and turning them into a bird that is absolutely thriving, full of color and full of life because all of their nutritional needs are finally being met.
So now the ball's in your court. I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Looking at all these healthy options, what is just one new thing you can introduce to your bird's bowl this week? Just one thing. Remember, even the smallest start can make the biggest difference in their life.